Okay, folks, in the lead up to us celebrating 140 years of Montrose FC, I've got the pleasure of interviewing Steve Doyle, our club historian, and let's not forget, almost lifelong fan, I would think. But first question I want to ask you, Steve, is obviously as our club historian, where has our club actually started? What is the beginning of our club?
As far as the local press at the time were concerned, it was the 13th of October 1879, and a few guys walked down to the old town hall and thought they'd have a meeting, and they decided then to play football properly by the association rules, and Montrose Football Club was born. So those guys walking down to the old town hall on all those years ago, we should be very pleased they did that, because right now we've just won another game of football, and it makes my journey home 200 miles all the much better.
I'll tell you, that is it's some achievement just alone for you to make that journey every week. I mean, why do you keep on coming back, Steve?
Hey, listen, Ross, I love this football club. This football club means so much to me. I tell people that there's 7 days in the week, there's 6 days a week to do everything else. Football is Saturday. When it's Saturday, it's football. And when it's football, it means wherever Montrose Football Club are playing, I am there. It doesn't matter whether it's Links Park, Clyde, Peterhead, Stranraer, wherever they are, that's where I am. Saturday is football day, and football day is Montrose Football Club. It doesn't matter, I'm not a Montrosian, it doesn't matter, they're my club, and that's how I follow, and that's how I will continue to follow, as long as I can drive.
I mean,
at my age.
Do you know what? I mean, it's a tremendous achievement. I mean, how long have you actually been following Montrose now?
Well, I'm told my first game was in 1949, February 1949, when my dad took me as a toddler to Kilmarnock in the C Division. But I started coming regularly to Montrose games. I think my first home game was 1955, which was our first home game back in the B Division against 3rd Lanark, and we won 2-1 that day. But I started coming to every game, home and away, when I retired 13 years ago. So yeah, in the last 13 years, I've not missed more than 1 or 2 games a season. Home and away.
And you're saying they're 1949, so in theory, half of the existence of the club, you've been part of it.
Yeah, I suppose. Yes, 70 years. Yeah, there's not many people go back that far.
No,
I'll tell you what, John Crawford said to me, the chairman said to me a few years ago. He said, "Bear in mind, Steve, you are older than anybody else, and you've been here more time than anybody else." He said, "You're the club historian now." So I said, "Aye, right."
You become part of history eventually.
Apparently, yeah, that's right. Hey, I'm not just a club historian, mate. I am history as well. Yeah.
I mean, for all those years, what would be your standout moment then? What are you?
A standout moment, that's hard. I mean, to be honest, as you know, I've seen a lot of lows and I've seen a lot of highs. A standout moment on the field, I would think, isn't the promotion ones. I was so proud when I stood at Hampden Park watching us play a semi-final against Rangers back in 1975. But right now, off the field, my standout moments are bringing ex-players back to this club for our reunion days twice a year. We've had players from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. And people like Davy Larcher and myself, we've brought all these players back to the club. We're a family, we're a Montrose family. And when you sit in the lounge, listening to all these players from all those different decades talking football, it doesn't matter which era they come from, the football, it just comes out of them. And I sit back and I just listen to people like Jimmy Kemp and Brian Third, Bob Livingston and Dennis Darcy, along with some of the more modern ones, shall I say, people like Bruce Morrison. Fancy talking about him as a modern player, but by comparison. And it's just hearing these players come back to the club. It's fantastic. Jimmy Kemp played in the late 50s and early 60s, but you know what? He'd never been back to Links Park, and found him in Forfar, and I brought him to a game last season. He'd not been back to Links Park since the mid-1960s, but now he's come back, he's hooked again, back into the club. Same with Brian Third as well. He thought the club had forgotten all about him. We don't forget about players like that. We don't.
Tremendous.
So the thing is, it's a family club. We're in it together, and the present board, the players, the fans, it's all one big family, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic club. It's my club.
And it's a great time to be a part of it, Steve.
Absolutely right, yeah.
Thank you very much for your time today, buddy. That has been a real pleasure.
And we'll see you all at East Fife next week.
We certainly will.